I want to explore today the three types of visibility content you should be creating as a leader. Hi, everyone. This is day 19 of 25 days of visibility. I am Rashonda Pratt, visibility and communication strategist, empowering you who is a hidden expert to be a go-to authority in your field. As you're coming in, say hello to me. We are streaming live right now on LinkedIn, my Rashonda Pratt page. We're also streaming on Visibility is Power TV on YouTube. If you have missed the prior days, I would encourage you to go back and check out the replays while they are still up. We talked about from the very beginning why your expertise is not enough. We talked about the 5 ways you can use live streaming, what I'm doing right now to be seen, heard, and paid. We talked about how to show up as a leader, what your team needs from you. And so for the past 20, almost 25 days, we have been talking and digging deep into your visibility, friend. And so I want to invite you to continue the conversation with us. If you've been here since the beginning, I want you to put beginner. If you are checking this out in the replay, use hashtag replay. And if you have any questions anytime doing this live or replay broadcast, listen, I will make sure to go check it out. Good morning, Rachel. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Thank you so much for joining on LinkedIn. And shout out to my YouTube audience. So let's dive right into this. What I hope happened for you this week and what's been happening these last couple of weeks that we've been together is that you are sitting down to create content. And maybe you're looking to create content on LinkedIn, maybe even a video, a newsletter. And then you're just staring at a blank screen. You're thinking, what should I post? I don't want to sound like everyone else. What if no one cares about this? How do I know if this is even good content? And so you either post something generic or you post nothing at all. And here's what I need you to know. You are overthinking the process. Not because you don't know what to say, it's because you don't have a system. So today I'm giving you the system, the 3 types of visibility content leaders need. When you master these 3 types, you'll never stare at a blank screen again. Okay? So here's where most leaders get it wrong. Mistake number 1, they make random content. They post whatever comes to mind. Maybe Monday is a motivational quote. Wednesday is industry news. Friday is just a random thought. There's no strategy, no consistency, no connection. Their content doesn't build anything. It just exists. Mistake number 2, they have one note content. They only post one type of content, option. They're only teaching. Every post is a framework, a how-to lesson, etc. They're seen as helpful, but not human. Option 2, they only post personal things. Every post is about their life, their struggles, their wins. And while they're seen as relatable, they are not credible. And option C, they are only promotional. You've seen it. Every post is, here's my offer, buy my thing. And they're really seen as salesy and people tune them out. Mistake number 3, copying everyone else. They see what's working for other people, and so they copy it. Same format, same hook, same topic. And the result is they sound like everyone else online, and their content just disappears in the noise. And what's missing is a content system, a simple framework that tells you what to post, when to post, and why it matters. And that's what I'm teaching you today. Now, here's what I need you to understand about a content framework. You can literally go to ChatGPT, Claude, you can even go to Google, and you can type in content system, and you would be inundated with so many ideas. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I need you to understand is being flexible in me sharing with you what works for me and what I've seen work with the clients that we get to work with. I need you to be flexible. So you may follow a content creator and they say, well, they didn't teach me how to do that. Then you know what? What I'd say, follow them and see if it works for you. So I'm just giving you a strategy to see if this will work for you, because there's so many different ways. There's so many different, how I started creating content in the beginning 10 years ago is not how I create it today. So this is about discovering what works for you. And so here's the framework. There are 3 types of visibility content leaders need. Type 1 is authority content. This is where you teach your expertise. Type 2 is authenticity content. This is where you show who you are. And type 3 is activation content. This is what moves people to action. Every piece of content you create should fall in one of those 3 categories: authority, authenticity, activation. And your content should be a balanced mix, right? So 60% authority, maybe 30% authenticity, 10% activation. So let's break this down. Type 1, authority content, which is about 60% of your content. This content teaches your expertise, your frameworks, your strategies, how-tos, lessons, and breakdowns. This is much of what I've been doing these 25 days of visibility. This is how people know you're credible. This is where you demonstrate you know your stuff. You can break complex ideas into simple frameworks that you're worth listening to. Authority content positions you as the expert. So examples of this authority content, if you've been here or missed any of this, is when I shared the 5 Ps of visibility production. When I shared the 3-part story structure every leader needs. When I talked about why your LinkedIn headline is costing you opportunities and how to fix it, and how to curate your network strategically. See the pattern? I'm teaching, you're teaching. Frameworks, systems, strategy. This is your bread and butter. This is what separates you from everyone else. So let's dig deeper. How do you create authority content? Step 1, what do you know that your audience needs to learn? Make a list. Seriously, what is the things that you've learned in your 9 to thrive? What is the things that you've learned in corporate? What is the things that you've learned living life? What is the things that you've learned in your industry? Make a list. What are the frameworks that you use to make your life simpler? What's the mistakes you see people make? Questions people ask you repeatedly. Yes, that's something you can teach. And problems you solve for clients. Step 2, you're going to pick 1 week. You don't need 50 frameworks, right? You're going to pick 1 framework per week and teach it. You are going to break it down simply into 3 to 5 parts. You're going to use clear language and real examples. That's authority content. Now, why does this kind of content matter? It matters because it helps to build your credibility, your trust. It's proof you know what you're talking about. But here's the trap that we get into. If all of your content is authority content, you're seen as smart, but not human. People respect you, but they don't connect with you. And so that's when we get into type 2. That's when we get into authenticity content, which is about 30% of your content. This content shows who you are. These are personal stories, lessons learned, behind the scenes, values, struggles. This is how people know that you're the real deal and you're not some bot or AI. This is how they know it. This is where you show you're not perfect. You've struggled too. This is where you demonstrate your values, and this is where you become relatable. Authentic content creates connection. So some of my examples of authentic content that I've used right here on LinkedIn is where I talked about 16 days of going live. Here's what I've learned. I used to think that I needed to be the loudest in the room. I was wrong. Here's what 20 years in TV taught me about showing up on camera. And the moment I realized that expertise wasn't enough. See the pattern? You're sharing your journey, your lessons, your humanity. And this is where people connect with you, my friend. So, how do you create this authentic content that connects? Well, what have you learned recently? Not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, but recently, this week, this month, this quarter. What's the lesson? Don't just tell the story, but connect it to a lesson your audience can use. And step three, which is so important, make it about them, not just about you. So end with something that says, here's what this means for you. That's authentic content. As I said before, this kind of content helps to build trust. People just don't respect you, they like you. They see themselves in your story. They think if she struggled with this, maybe I can overcome it too. So whenever I tell my story of starting in this video space, not liking my voice, not liking how I look on camera, that is me sharing my authentic story. And people start to say, oh my gosh, if it's possible for her to change, if it's possible for her to grow her visibility muscle, I want to know how she did that. And I want her to show me and teach me so I can do it too. But here's the thing. If all of your content is authentic content, you're seen as relatable, but not credible. People like you, but they don't hire you. That's why you need 60% authority, 30% authenticity, right? Authority equals credibility, authenticity equals connection. Together, they are trust and respect. And then you get into type 3, which is activation content, which is about 10%. Content that moves people to action. Invitations, offers, call to actions, events, programs, groups. The purpose of this is how you monetize your visibility. This is where you say, here's my offer. Join my program, book a call, come to my event. Activation content converts visibility into revenue. So, activation content, you may have heard me talk about the 90-day sprint that starts January 15th. Here's what's included. Join me live every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. My newsletter goes out every week with strategies just like this. Tap the link. If you have received value from this series, the next step is my 90-day sprint. Tell people what you want them to do next. Don't be afraid. I remember when I first started, I was so scared to give people a call to action. And then I had to remember what we did in TV for so many years, which is tell y'all what to do. If you like this story, go to our website, click on the big red 10. That's one of my local stations always says. If you want to donate to this cause, go to our website and tap under community. We're always telling people what to do, and I want you to do the same. And let me just change this a little bit. It's not just telling people what to do. It's really giving them an invitation to get more from you because they find value with you. So you're asking them to come work with you, come join with you, come take the next step. This is how you turn visibility into a business. So how do you create activation content? Number one, you have to understand what's your offer. Be very clear. What is it? Who is it for? What's the outcome? Step two, you got to connect it to value that you've been giving. So if you love this framework that I just taught, my program is where we implement all of this together. And make the call to action clear, not vague. So DM me, email me, comment word for details, whatever it is. Don't be vague. Tell them exactly what you want them to do. And the reason why this activation content matters is because this is where you monetize your expertise. Because you can teach all day, but if you never invite people to work with you, you're a teacher with no students. But here's the trap. If all your content is activation content, you are seen as salesy. People tune out. That's why it's only 10%. You give value, authority, plus authenticity. Then you invite activation 60, 30, 10. And that is visibility that converts. If you're just tuning in, I'm Rashonda Pratt, visibility and communication strategist, and I'm talking about the 3 types of visibility content leaders need to create. So the next time, today, hint, hint, that you sit down to create content, I want you to think about those 3 types of content that I just shared with you. And here they are again. Type 1, authority content. This is about 60%, where you're teaching your expertise and it helps to build credibility. Type 2 is authenticity content, which is about 30%. This is where you show who you are and build a connection. And then activation content, which is about 10%, moves people to action and monetizes visibility. This is your content system. So, how does this work? If you were to create a weekly plan where you decided, I'm going to post 3 times a week, it could be Monday, you're going to post authority content. Wednesday, I'm going to do authenticity content. Friday, I'm going to do authority content, right? And maybe it's every 10th or 5th post, you do activation content where you invite people to work with you. It's amazing. The key here is 60% authority, 30% authenticity, 10% activation. Stick to the ratio and you'll never have to overthink again. So, what I want you to do this week, as we get ready to end one year and start another, I want you to audit your last 10 posts. How many were authority? How many were authenticity? And how many were activation? Is your mix off? Your 60, 30, 10? If you're posting 100% authority, add some authenticity. If you're posting 100% authenticity, then add some authority. And if you're posting 50% activation, then dial it way back. Then step 2, plan your next 10 posts using the 60, 30, 10 ratio. 6 authority posts, 3 authenticity posts, and 1 activation post. And the thing about this is you can schedule it and you're done. And step 3, save this framework, write it down, bookmark this video. So every time you don't know what to post, you can ask yourself, what types of content am I creating today? Authority, authenticity, activation. Pick one, create it, and post it. That's the system. Very simple. Listen, if you have a question, I'm getting ready to close. I want you to post a question here. If you're watching in the replay and have a question, no worries. Post your question. I'll go back and take a look at it. Natalie Gregg says, this content system is invaluable. Thank you so much for sharing. You are welcome, my friend. I am glad that you are here and you're finding value. So that's your assignment. I want you to audit your last 10 posts. Go look at your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your YouTube. And for each post, I want you to label it authority, authenticity, activation. Then calculate your ratio. How many for each type? And I want you to share it with us. So for example, your ratio could be 80% authority, 20% activation, 20% authenticity, 0 activation. See, once you start to see this, you see the gaps. You see the areas where you need to focus on. In the example I just gave, I'm giving people my authority, I'm giving them my authenticity, but I'm not giving them the next steps on how we can work together or how I can support them in X. So be honest, because once you see the ratio, you'll know how and where to adjust. So those are the 3 types of visibility content leaders need. And here's what I need you to hear. You don't need to post every day. You don't need to be on every platform. And you don't need to copy what everyone else is doing. You need a system. And that system, again, is 60% authority, teacher expertise, 30% authenticity, show who you are, and 10% activation, invite people to work with you. That's it. And when you're stuck on what to post, ask, what type of content am I creating today? Authority, authenticity, activation. Pick one. No more overthinking, no more staring at blank screens, because now you have a ratio. Excuse me, now you have a system. So use this framework for every piece of content you're creating moving forward. This is how you build visibility that converts, not just content that exists. Content that builds authority, creates connection, and drives business. That's how this all works. Now, we'll be back tomorrow as we're starting to wrap up our 25 days of visibility. I want to say, join me Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, because I will be sharing the State of Visibility address, where I see visibility in 2026. I would love for you to be there. And so make sure that you're there, and I will be streaming that live to Visibility is Power TV over on YouTube. So make sure that you're there so that way you can see and hear my predictions as we go into 2026, because 2026 is ripe, full of opportunities. And my friend, I don't want you to miss it. I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 20. Wow. We are just trucking along here. Day 20 of 25 days of visibility. I'm Rashonda Pratt, visibility and communication strategist, helping hidden experts to become go-to authorities in their industry. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.